And now it's time to begin our forum. There's a few people I'd like to introduce before we get started. Miss Linda Grace will be our moderator. Many of you know Miss Linda from the blood bank, and she's our public relations chair. She does a great job, and we thank you. Thank you. She'll be the moderator, asking the questions to the candidates. And then here on the front row, we have Becky Long, and she is our official timekeeper. Thank you very much. That's a very important job. And now I'll say this. After the conclusion of the forum, don't get up and leave, because we have a few more things to say. But I will say this. After all of the questions have been asked and answered, and the meeting is adjourned, we want everybody in this room to go pick out these guys right here, these candidates, because we want y'all to meet with them one-on-one. Everybody wants to ask a question. Well, we don't have time. There's not enough time for 100 people to ask 100 different questions. So go seek out the candidate that you want to talk to. I mean, this is your forum. These gentlemen are all trying to run for office to represent the voice of this community. So ask them. Ask them. Oh, that's my lecture. Linda?
Thank you, Kelly. As the moderator on the 2-minute responses, Becky will hold up the notification cards at the 1-minute interval, the 30-second interval, and a stop card when the speaker is out of time. On 1-minute responses, she'll hold up notification cards with 30 seconds remaining and a stop card when the speaker is out of time. We kindly ask that the speakers respect these time limits. We have one microphone, and that will be passed from speaker to speaker. At this time, I'll read the protocol for the forum. There are 5 questions and 4 candidates. Questions are numbered 1 through 5. Candidates will draw for placement of order to answer the questions. Candidates will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves. When asked their questions, candidates will have 2 minutes to answer. If opponents wish, they may have 1 minute for a rebuttal. All candidates will receive 1 final question and have 1 minute to answer. Candidates will also have 1 minute to provide closing remarks. At this time, candidates, we ask you to draw a number and then align yourselves up here up front. Gentlemen.
If you'll open it, you'll have a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Yes.
And number 1, if you'll sit right down here by the American flag, or number 2, whichever.
Number 4. We have number 4. You're 3? Every time. That's a lucky number, I guess.
5. Okay,
What?
Todd, come this way. 1. That means that, Tommy, you must be number 1. Very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
4.
Sorry.
All right. Got that part done. So I'm going to start with the questions, and we'll start with number 1. Oops. Okay. Yes, thank you. If you would, starting with you, sir, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, thank you. Thank you, the San Angelo Republican Women, for hosting the event tonight. Look forward to providing some information to you, along with my opponents here. My name is Tommy Usery, candidate for Tom Green County Judge. I grew up here in San Angelo. I was on the police department. I have an ASU Bachelor of Science degree. Police department for 10 years, Texas DPS Highway Patrol for 10 years, law school, South Texas College of Law, 26 years practicing law, including government and administrative law. As an attorney, I've been engaged in many of the events that the county judge operates in, mental health cases, probate cases, and guardianship cases as well. Look forward to answering questions tonight, and let's get it on.
Good evening, and I want to thank everybody for being here and the Republican Women for hosting. And what a way to start off this busy week of forums on a Monday night. I'm Lane Carter, running for Tom Green County Judge. I was born and raised here in Tom Green County. I was a graduate of Central High School in '06, a graduate in 2010 with the Bachelor's in Biology of ASU, and also in 2011 with the Bachelor's in Nursing from ASU as well. Started off my working career with the lawn service and grew that all the way through college and gave it up as I became a nurse in 2011. I worked as a nurse in the ER at Community for 2 years and then 4 years at the OR at Shannon. It was a nursing school where I met my wife, Paige. We've been married for almost 9 years with 2 wonderful boys, one 5 and one 2, Jackson and Cohen. I served on our San Angelo City Council in 2016 when I was elected, all the way to this last November when I stepped down to run for this position, and tackled a various array of items, and proud to say that we conquered many things in San Angelo. So I look forward to doing that on this county level. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you, San Angelo Republican Women, for hosting. My name is Todd Coles, and I am a candidate in the upcoming 2022 Republican primary, and I'm here tonight to ask for your vote. I was raised in San Angelo. I'm a 1998 graduate of San Angelo Central High School. I met my wife in our youth church group. We were high school sweethearts and ended up getting married in 2005. We have 3 beautiful children that are 14, 11, and 8. In 2011, I started my own business. I have a jewelry store in the bottom floor of the Cactus Hotel. I ran it as a one-man operation in a small 500 square foot office for the first 5 years. I did have success with it, and I was able to go purchase another jewelry store here in town in 2016. And then we merged the 2 stores, moved into what we now have is a 3,000 square foot space in the bottom floor of the Cactus Hotel. My wife and I ran it together. She was a special education teacher until 2014, and I needed some help, so she decided to stop, and thank you for having me.
Good evening. My name is Joe Hyde, and thank you to the San Angelo Republican Women for having this forum. Thanks to San Angelo Live for filming it. We can't film it live tonight because the broadband internet stinks out here. And I've been trying to talk about broadband internet for the last 3 forums. But anyway, I graduated from A&M. I was a pilot in the Air Force 20 years. The last 6 years, I was a reservist down at Laughlin. Moved up here after selling a business down there. Moved up here and went through a couple iterations of working for corporations like Verizon, which never want to work for a corporation like Verizon, and decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur and kept pushing it up that way. At one point, I decided I wanted to build something once and sell it many times. So that's what we started with San Angelo Live, which a lot of you guys know what San Angelo Live is. It was primarily me and John Vasquez, and everyone told us that we couldn't do it because the Standard Times was too good. But anyway, I'm here to talk to you all about county issues. I know a lot about them, and thank you.
We're going to break for just a minute. It was just brought to my attention that on the tables there is some type of handout. This did not come from the San Angelo Republican Women. I do not know who put this on the table, but it starts, "What's a snowflake?" I just want everybody to turn it upside down. And I'm hoping that whoever put these on the table will approach me privately later and we can discuss this. This is completely inappropriate. We don't condone this type of campaigning or activity. Now everybody's going to pick it up and read it. But what do? You know?
Who's it about?
It's about you.
Is it about me?
It's about you.
Really?
So I don't know.
As a Republican, Gentlemen, we're supposed to hold each other to higher standards than this. To attack a candidate, whether you think he deserves it or not, is really hitting below the belt. And we are better than this. I don't know who put it out. I know I didn't. And I would really, really appreciate it if you're going to do something like this, at least own up to it. Or let's put everybody under fire. But when you come into the VFW and you defame a veteran, a 20-year combat pilot, bomber pilot, come on, guys.
Thank you. Anyway, as I said, I just disregard it because the Texas Federation of Republican Women have guidelines about campaigns. We go as far as we do not allow any campaign materials on the tables. That's why we have specific tables for campaign materials. We're very tight about this. I am a stickler on following the rules, and I apologize. I apologize to all four candidates.
Point of order. What does it say? I want to read it. It might be pretty funny.
I don't know. I didn't read it, but all I know is that we do not. This is not how the San Angelo Republican Women conduct their business, and I apologize to all four of y'all. Okay.
What does it say?
I don't know. I'm not going to read it. Now back to the matter at hand, and I thank you all for this slight diversion. But I had to stand up as president of the San Angelo Republican Women. I had to step in.
Thank you. All right, we're on to the questions, and look, they're big enough for me to read, so that's a good thing. All right, sir, first question is for you. Tom Green County is sitting on $18 million in government COVID relief funds. Do you know what strings are attached with spending this money in the stated time frame?
Straightforward, I do not know what the time frame is for spending those funds. Louder. Straightforward, I do not know the time frame associated with the requirement on spending these funds. I promise you I'll find out as quickly as I can.
We'll just go straight in order. All right, Mr. Carter, for you, what are your thoughts on zero-based budgeting? Will you continue expecting department heads to justify their budgets?
The way that we did it at the city is we counteracted the department heads. They came over too high. What we did is did a conservative basis towards it. When we trended, we trended under. And if we thought that the sales tax was going to come in lower, we trended lower. We know about what the ad valorem taxes base is, so we were able to trend that way. But yes, the department heads do not make the final call. So if it does not look like it is zero base, then we would have the say so as the county judge to trend it the way that we need it for our constituents.
Thank you. All right, sir, for you, repealing longevity pay for elected officials has been discussed many times in the past. Should elected officials receive longevity pay? Would you be willing to repeal or alter this benefit for elected officials?
How many elected officials are here? Absolutely. I am for looking at every single dime that comes through in and out of this county. I am going to have a learning curve, just as all four of us will have a learning curve. None of us have been county commissioners. None of us have been county judges. We're going to have a learning curve getting into this. So to answer that question, I'm not exactly sure of the ins and outs or the positives and negatives of that situation. What I can tell you is I am for anyone who has worked hard for our county to be justly, to have their pay justified for that. But as far as longevity pay, that would be a question that I would have to ask people that have been doing it a lot longer and people that are in the know a little bit more than I am at this moment. So,
thank you.
Oh, we got another
Yes.
question. It's not
It's
coming
coming.
off the snowflake sheet, is it?
Define what success would be after your first year in office, please.
If I can get through the budget process and lower the tax rate, that's going to be a success. And that's what I'm promising. I want to go in there and fight for a lower tax rate. I can't promise you're going to pay less in taxes because we have inflation. Inflation's killing us. And you guys want a competent county government. You want a government that doesn't infringe on your civil liberties. And you want to keep a lid on crime. In order to do all those three things, we're probably going to have to raise some salaries. When you talk about longevity pay or loyalty pay, things like that, the city does have a loyalty pay system. I think it pays more than the county does, but the city has a lot more pots of money to grab longevity pay out of. The county is very tough on that. I've talked, when you walk through some of these offices in the county and you talk to the employees, they're like stuck at clerk one. I go ahead and say stuck, but they're at clerk one and they have no hope of ever becoming clerk two because most people there are there for 20, 30 years. It's different to me because I was looking at it from the Air Force perspective where it's up or out. But anyway, I got 1 minute left. I can talk. We got $11.5 million left in the ARPA funds under the current round. They're going for another round. You're going to hear this in the Precinct 4 debate. I'm not real smart on it yet, but there's a whole lot of Commissioner Bill Ford's talking about this dam that's in Cristobal, that it needs to be shored up, and he wants to get ARPA funds to do that, et cetera. So that's going to become a real point of talk. But I think most of these ARPA funds will be spent by the time any of us, whoever wins this, gets into office. But the ARPA funds should be used, in my opinion, to reduce the budget as much as you can. So whatever you can pay legally to reduce the pressure on the budget and be able to keep the tax rate lower, that's how you use. And then the next thing you look at projects. One of the big projects is broadband internet. We can't stream this tonight because we don't have good internet at the BFW. So y'all remember that. We want to fix the broadband internet problem here in San Angelo.
Thank you. Thank y'all. So the last question, each one of you will answer the same question. And it is, on a day-to-day basis, what resources do you use to get your local, state, and national insight for current issues? And what causes do you support financially on a regular basis? And what causes do you support financially on a regular basis? Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You
Got
have
1
a
minute. All right, it's a two-part question. Causes that I support on a regular basis. Number one, freedom. And anything that involves us reacquiring all of our freedoms, I support that, including organizations such as the San Angelo Republican Women. The other question is what sources do I use to keep current? What newspapers? I certainly check out the San Angelo Live, what's happening locally. I check out the Concho Valley newspaper online, San Angelo Standard Times, and I'll look at the national news as well. And those are both online and on television.
Thank you. To repeat the question? Yes. On a day-to-day basis, what resources do you use to get your local, state, and national insight for current issues? And what causes do you support financially on a regular basis?
I would definitely say the news. That is our outlet to find out what causes or what issues are coming out in the local, state, and federal governments, but also the Texas Association of Counties. If we have any questions, if we see something, we can resort to them. That is a network of county officials that, with legal advice, being in contact with our state reps, Drew Darby, Charles Perry, our federal reps, August Pfluger. On a day-to-day basis, the causes that I support is public safety. Our volunteer fire departments, our sheriff's departments, they are the ones that are out on the streets every day keeping us safe. So financially, those are a day-to-day funding issue that could change with just a spur of the moment. To being a murder or a fire, that's our people, that's us, that's our assets and our lives. So thank you.
Thank you. You want me to repeat?
Please.
Okay. On a day-to-day basis, what resources do you use to get your local, state, and national insight for current issues? And what causes do you support financially on a regular basis?
Okay. On a daily basis, I try to read the headlines on the Wall Street Journal. I try to read the Drudge Report, even though I don't do it as much as I used to. I watch Fox News. I watch Fox Business in my office every day as I work. I listen to Glenn Beck on the radio. I listen to Dan Bongino. I was an enormous supporter of Bill O'Reilly, and yes, I do still listen to Bill O'Reilly. I am a premium member. I was also an enormous fan of Rush Limbaugh, and absolutely got most of my insight as to why I care about public policy from Rush Limbaugh, and I'm not ashamed of it one bit. Financially, I support a wife. I support 3 kids. I support Little League Baseball. I support YMCA basketball. I support the charities that come in and out of my store on a daily basis asking me to support their Claybird shoot, their golf tournaments. Every single thing that we can give back to this community, I am willing to look at and give back to. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you want to know what I read?
What resources do you use? Yeah.
I'm a subscriber to the Wall Street Journal. I get a lot of ideas from that. What do I say ideas? I have to write a lot, so I do read the Wall Street Journal almost religiously every day. The news has gone to hell, right? The statewide preps, Texas Tribune's took a turn for the worse. I know Evan Smith, and he has allowed the woke liberals graduating from University of Texas and Southwest Texas State, or whatever they call it now, to take over. And I don't like it. And then there's a need for that. As far as what kind of charities I support, I've been a member of Rotary International here in San Angelo since I moved here in 2004. And before that, I was still a member of Rotary. I took a 1-year hiatus, though. And then, of course, we give money to our church. So that's, and of course, the wife takes a lot of my money, too. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. And now for closing remarks, you each have a minute to whatever you would like to say to us.
Again, I'm going to be in trouble if I don't do this before we leave. My wife, Patricia, is sitting here, and I always leave you out, Roland. I'm so sorry. She is such a tremendous help to me. And we have 2 adult children and 2 grandsons. I'm the only candidate here today for this position that can go in on day 1 and begin doing the county's business. Things that the county judge does, 60% is administrative, 40% of it is judicial. The judge determines the outcome of cases that affect people's property rights, guardianships, probate, wills in the state, and also mental health issues. 40% of the job I don't have to learn. I'm ready to go day 1. We're all going to have a learning curve on the administrative side. The 26 years practicing law on the administrative side of the legal system gives me an advantage.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for being here. The reason I'm running for Tom Green County Judge is the same reason that I ran for the San Angelo City Council. I have a servant's heart, and I have 2 kids. I want to see them grow up in a community that cares about them and that they care about as well. We ran on issues with water, streets, civil service, economic development on the council level. I'm doing the same thing at the county level. I want to see this community thrive. I want to see happy citizens. I want to see happy families. I want to see my kids grow up and love to be here and not move away. I have many friends that grew up and moved away after high school and never came back. I never moved away because I saw that key sense that Tom Green County and San Angelo had. And I want to make that the same thing for the coming up generations. Thank you.
Again, my name is Todd Coles, and I am asking for your vote. Early voting starts February 14th. Election day is March 1st. I am running for Tom Green County Judge because I care and I give back to my community. This community is so unique. We are a unique people, and there is nowhere else in the world I would rather be right now than in San Angelo, Texas, and Tom Green County. And I mean that. People used to say it, but look at the world around us. Is there anywhere else you would rather be right now? I care about this community. I want this community to strive, and I'm going to do that Through my experience with Costa DC and Development Corporation, through economic development. You want your lower taxes? You got to bring up the tax base. How do you do that? You bring in economic development to our community. Through economic development, Dwayne Morrison asked me 6 years ago. He called me and asked if I'd serve on the Costa DC board. I accepted. For 6 years, we helped this community grow. We took half-cent sales tax money in, and we turned that half-cent sales tax into community development and economic development for this community. Thank you.
I can't believe we're already over, but Joe Hyde, Hyde, to remember how I'm on the ballot, I'm the one with the least amount of letters. So this is good, right? All right. I'm going to bring up something with what Tommy's been bringing up. And Tommy, you're a good guy. But I'm going to tell you something. You're right on the 40%. Y'all remember that 40%. But there's another 40 that you need to understand. 40 is the number of counties out of the 254 counties in Texas that have an attorney who's the county judge. The county judge position is not made today in 2022 to have an attorney necessarily. Now, you could have an attorney there, but mostly it's someone there who's going to be good at running the administrative stuff. The second thing is the only people clamoring to put attorneys in the county judge position are the liberals in Austin. For example, Judith Zaffarina, she's the state senator from Laredo, and she's kind of like the polar opposite of our Charles Perry. She is pushing for legislation to try to force the county judge position to become just an attorney. So if you want to do all the liberal stuff, vote for Tommy.
Thank you.
How's that?
Thank you.
You're not going to fight back?
Gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being here today, for being honest and answering the questions, and for your willingness to serve our community. And everybody out here, I want to remind you, please, please come up and talk to these gentlemen. Ask them the questions, the things that you want to know about who you think and what you think is important about being our county judge. And now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Kelly.
No, they had an opportunity for a 1-minute rebuttal when they were asked their individual questions, but none of the opponents, no, we're not breaking from our protocol, but none of the opponents chose to take a 1-minute rebuttal. So we have just a few things. Y'all can sit right here and let everybody eyeball you for a minute. And we're going to do just a couple of last-minute housekeeping things. I want to thank a couple of people, in particular, all of the committee members of the San Angelo Republican Women that helped put together tonight. We had a lot of volunteers, and we want to thank everybody in this room that helped. So thank y'all very much. They set this room up. They brought the refreshments. They set up the candidate tables. You know, we don't just click our heels together and make this happen. It does take some labor and some time, and we thank every single person in this room. And we had many associate members that helped with that, and we thank them for that specifically. Just a few reminders. Next Monday, early voting starts. So start your early voting. Yes, ma'am? There's a reason we have an agenda.
Okay, early voting starts Monday. There's going to be more than one early voting site. There's going to be 5.
That's part of the new voting.
Yeah. So the voting site should go out on the what website? The election website. Huh? Okay.
And that's because with voter integrity, I don't know exactly what word it goes under, but and because of the population of our city, instead of having one location, because of the population of our city and county, we now have 5. And as I was at a meeting with Vonna one time, and she said it's very difficult to find a public place that has the adequate hours and meets the criteria for voting. So, but regardless, y'all need to vote. The other date is Wednesday, February 23rd. That's the town hall meeting right here in this building with Senator Charles Perry. And I received a text message that on the third Wednesday, the Pachyderm meeting this month will be having a forum with the county commissioner candidates and the county court at law. So I just was made aware of that. So that would be a good one to go to. This will be at Miss Hattie's downtown, and get there about 11:15, 11:30 if you want to get a seat, because that place fills up and it's always a good meeting. Let's see. I did mention TFRW when I had to do the interruption. The Texas Federation of Republican Women is our governing body for the San Angelo Republican Women. And some of us just returned last weekend from a training in San Marcos. It was our annual leadership day. And this year's theme is called Building Leaders for Tomorrow. And so Building Leaders is the theme for this year throughout all of the Texas Federation of Republican Women clubs across the state of Texas. There are 267 clubs across the state. We have over 13,000 members. Now just think, if our club with 150-ish members can produce 15,000 hours in volunteer time, think of what 13,000 members can do. That is a great impact on political campaigns and political candidates across the state of Texas. So as you move forward, you just think about that. You know, think about all the people that have worked on your campaigns, and every candidate in this room. Please think about that. I want to say a special thank you to Scott and Laurie Decker. They provide the Longhorn coffee every meeting. Thank you very much. Stop by their shop on South Oaks and Washington and see them. They have a storefront, and it's a great place to have a little get together. I'll just say that. As I said, once we adjourn, feel free to meet these guys. Come up, ask them questions, or visit the tables in the back. Visit with Aaron Kinsey, visit with Dylan Sanders, Tom Daniel, Stacy Speck, Ron Perry, Judge Warner. I'm just naming this gentleman, Travis. Travis can talk about Leland, Lupe Gomez over here, and Lori Wilson and Coco Simpson and Andrew Graves. Did I miss any candidates? I'm going off. Oh, and Christina. I'm sorry. I'm going off the top of my head here. So I just really thank you, each of you. Okay, everybody get out those red tickets. Remember those red tickets you got when you came in? Because we have two very special. Oh, I want you to draw. You draw. You draw. And this is, huh? Oh, this is Lilan Thee. Everyone knows Lilan. Go ahead, draw. You're seeing our best side. Sorry. Okay. If the last four numbers on your ticket are 9941, let me see. Oh, looky. Okay. Now, you want to, in honor of Valentine's and Texas, we're going to keep Texas red. Here's some beautiful red roses. Thank you. You're welcome. No, you're good. And those were donated by Laura Lacey from Lacey Real Estate. And we have one more. And the last four on this one, 9922. Oh, well, Miss Healy, awesome. Okay, now what we have here, this is a gift certificate for $200 for tax services from Coco Simpson. So, thank you. That's a very generous gift. Thank you. All right. On behalf of the San Angelo Republican Women, I thank you for coming. It's 7:02. This is the fastest forum on record. I want to thank each of you for coming. Again, I hate being right in front of these guys, but please visit with them. Our meeting, even though I might hammer the gavel, these guys, they want to work for you, so visit with them. Visit with the other candidates in the room. This is what we want, one-on-one. But we thank each of you for coming, and we would love for you to join us again. And please, talk to us about membership. It's easy, and we'd love to have you. Thank you so much. We are adjourned.